Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Space Engineers Plus Me, episode 44. I'm Enigmius, and today it's just an update episode, nothing major, pretty relaxed. Got a lot done on the chassis for the Atlas. One of the things I wanted to point out before we get going, however, because this is more of a technical detail, and if I forget now, I'm going to feel bad because I won't be able to do it in another video. It's if you look at it, it's on a kind of a slant. It's still being held up by the pistons that we put in place in the last episode to raise it up so that we could repair the wheels and upgrade the wheel system. And then all of a sudden I noticed that it was on a slant. Now you might be looking at this and thinking, geez dude, just like straighten out your horizon and you'll be fine. There's no slant. But the easiest way to illustrate the nature of the slant is we're going to come down here and we're going to compare it to this wheel. So this is one of the 4 drive wheels. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 drive wheels. This is the 3rd from the back, and you can see we can easily fit underneath. It looks, as we're going through, it looks like there's tons of space on either side, but if we pass through, this is the 3rd from the back on the other side. 1, 2, 3, and it feels like we can barely fit. So that's the proof that there is a slant, and the reason for this slant, believe it or not, is right there. The canary. What I did was I took all of the stuff from the Dauntless, all of the stuff from the cargo, the materials, the components, everything, and I brought it over here, and it's been a big help because I don't have to go all the way back over there when I need more components to continue building. But I just left the canary there, not really thinking that it was going to be a big deal. Turns out it kind of is, so we're going to have to move the canary. But what's more, I want to move these connectors that we've got sticking up on the back and put them probably staggered down this middle strip here, so that when we land ships on the back of the Atlas stays relatively balanced, all things considered. That's the goal anyways, so that's something that we're going to keep in mind. I'm also going to keep an eye on it, make sure when we move the canary that it actually corrects this situation, because the thought also occurred to me that it could just be we dumped all of these materials, and there was a lot of them, into cargo containers on this side of the ship. I don't know if the game is that detailed, but we'll find out if the game cares enough to keep track of where all the weight is once it's on the ship. So most of my time for the last couple days has been trying to fill out the outer hull on this upper section, basically from the bottom light gray area here up and eventually all the way to the back end. That's been kind of the focus, and so far you can see, relative to where we were at the end of the last episode, I think we're doing all right. I decided to do a little bit of detailing with black here. Instead of just doing the orange and yellow stripes, I thought we would kind of branch out a little bit and incorporate some black down the sides. And the whole idea is to make it look like these are kind of recessed areas of an industrial nature. Who knows why they're there? They're just there, and they're black, and they contrast well with orange. So that's kind of a thing. I did a little bit of changing on this front end. I used to have a fair bit hanging down from the chassis in this area right here on the front end, but I'm going to have to probably add more wheels to the front here for the front bumpers, also to the back, and then we're going to probably add more wheels down here. As it was, this wheel, because it's elevated and not touching the ground, it tends to just have a little fit from time to time when we're moving. And if that was the case, and it had just the right kind of fit, it would impact something in the chassis around here, which would be enough to destroy the wheel and do a ton of damage to the interior, like the wheel well area, so to speak. So we have to kind of keep that in mind. But one of the first steps on the path to correcting it was to clean it all up and get rid of the overhanging stuff, and then if we have room for it later on, and it seems like an idea we want to add back, we can do that. But for now, we've got that taken care of and ready to go. We brought it out a little bit wider, and then I realized it might be a neat opportunity to kind of build out some windows here. So we're taking advantage of it looks round even though it's not kind of scenario for this secondary viewing area. It's not actually accessible from the inside. This little area, it's closed off by the windows on the inside. You can see them there. I'm not decided yet on whether or not I'm going to take those interior windows down. It's not that big of a deal to me, but I like the way it looks from the outside. Having that sort of pseudo-curved section in the front. And then up here we've got more of the black detailing. It's kind of recessed like we were doing with the yellow. We've got some lights that really do a nice job of illuminating the side of the ship during the nighttime. But more importantly, we've got this section up here. We still have to finish off the front half in terms of the chassis, because it's pretty flat right now. These are the reverse thrusters. 4 large ion thrusters for reverse. We've got 6 large ones in the back for forward movement, 4 for reverse. The ion thrusters are mostly going to be used when maneuvering in space, but they're also going to be used on planets to kind of assist the wheels in, getting up to speed and also stopping when we're at speed. So I didn't want to do just like 1 or 2 thrusters for reverse. I wanted to make sure we had a little bit of investment there to make sure that we're getting the most out of it that we can be expected to, assuming that we're going to have enough materials to finish assembling these guys. I still have to look into that. We may not. We may simply not. And that could be a bit of a tragedy, but we'll see. We'll do what we can. It also makes a convenient carrying handle. We encounter any titans who decide they want to lend us a hand, it'll be able to pick up the ship and carry it quite readily. But most importantly, I like the looks of it with that sort of arch like that, and it's built out. I might do something down here a little bit. That doesn't look quite right to me, but it's nitpicking at this point. And then, like I say, on the front section, all this flat stuff, basically it's like it's cut off right there. So we'll probably do something on the front end just to kind of get rid of that flatness, and then we'll be good to go. I'll see what I can do about getting those thrusters finished. And that basically leaves us with this back section on either side to fill out back to the thrusters here. I still want to have this back section elevated higher than the area where the ship is docked, for example. And if we carry it straight across from where it is now, it will be. Not by a lot, but it doesn't have to be by a lot. But if we kind of bring it straight across like that, and then have a slightly more abrupt kind of drop-off at the thrusters, that's kind of what I'm aiming for now. And I think by the time we get that done, it'll be pretty snazzy looking. I'm specifically not doing a lot on the sides other than putting orange blocks in place, because this is where I have to place the gantry for the mining system. I'm not sure how many gantries I'm going to place on each side. Part of me says just do one. Just dangle the track from one gantry. I was originally going to do 3, but 3 just means that you're having to synchronize 3 different things. And if they don't synchronize and one of them goes wrong, then the whole thing goes wrong. So 1 might be a little bit simpler, and have it extended out a little bit from the side so that it clears the wheels. We have to get not only the gantry and the column of blocks that are holding the track ship out to the side, we also have to have enough room for the drills on the actual drill ship itself. So we're probably going to end up having the gantry extended out to something like this and dangling off the side so that you can do the mining off to the side in kind of a rectangular pattern, sort of like that size kind of thing. So, I mean, there's so much left to do, and that's why it's taking so long. I mean, we're doing an update every couple of days, just so that you guys can see we're still working on it, and there's nothing crazy going on, and it's also making it manageable so that we can show off more of the details per update than if we waited until the whole ship was done, and then all we can really do is show you the chassis, and that's basically it, because it would take far too long to go over all of the details. So by the next episode, I hope to have the chassis closed in. We'll have it all done up. To here, we'll have the beginnings of the gantry placement, and probably, or at the very least, hopefully, we'll have the wheel situation sorted out so that we'll have our bumpers and our lift wheels back in place. And I kind of think that we're going to leave it on blocks until it's actually time to start properly tuning the wheels on the finished ship, because leaving it on the ground on the wheels, I think is just a recipe for disaster right now because the weight keep changing. We're up over 9 million kilograms right now. That'll be reduced a little bit when we take the ship off, and of course a lot of that weight came from the materials that we put into storage, but still over 9 million kilograms and climbing, so we have to be careful, and I'm happy to take my time in the process of being careful and not rush things and try and get this thing off the pistons before we need to. So it's not exactly action-packed. It's not exactly everything you ever dreamed of when you thought about a ship that goes around mining big rectangular swaths out of ice lakes, but it is progress. It's starting to look almost like a cruise ship. Big orange cruise ship. So if you want to be notified when we add future episodes on this project and all the projects that we're going to do after, because there's going to be a lot of them, you can always subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on social media, get updates that way. Links for social media in the information box below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.